What's up, guys? I'm back again with another video. And today we're going to be looking at the login servlet for our registration application. But before we do that, I wanted to address the last issue I had within the previous video. Now, if you remember, um, once the registration process hits this particular method or step over here, if it doesn't pass this particular step, it's not supposed to continue towards registering the user. So there was a bit of an oversight on my part. So once the process doesn't pass this particular step, it then with what we tested the last time, it was registering the user even though it didn't pass this particular step. So what I was actually supposed to do within this method was actually do a return statement, uh, such as that. And then I'm actually supposed to do the exact same thing within these other methods over here. Um, also up here as well. Right. So once we what you call it, once we actually let me run this application. So once we if the registration process doesn't pass this particular step, it's not going to continue towards registering the user. So another thing is that within the database itself, I was actually supposed to set a property here on the email column. So I'm just going to set it there quickly. Unique. All right. So I'm not gonna recreate this database again, but just for future purposes, if you did follow my process here, just remember to add that property there onto the email column. So now within the system here, we can, before we do the login, we can just check and see if we try to register with the same details. Before that, let's just check here. So as you can see, there's about 5 Jane Does over there. This was when I was actually testing offline, but we're gonna check and see if it's going to register the user though, if they are using the same email or not. So I'm just gonna put that there, John Doe, then put in the other, put in a password. Okay, so it redirected us back to the error page. So let's just see if it did register the user again. All right, so as you can see with the both results, it's still the same. So it didn't register the user, and so we're using the same email. All right, so that's it for the we had. Now, as for the login form itself, um, let me just close these here for a second here. All right, so for the login form, what we need to do first here within the servlets, the servlet package is create a new login servlet for it. And then I'm going to call it login servlet. Okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing we did within the registration servlet. So I'm just going to copy what we did up here within the do get method, and just paste it there. And then the only thing we need to do is just change that over there to login.jsp, and then also change that to, instead of register dispatcher, we're going to say login dispatcher, and paste that there. Okay, so before we do the do post method, what we're going to do first is here within the application, the app DAO. So the login method is going to be pretty much the same as the one that we're using here within the one that we're using here, the does email exist method. The only thing we're going to change is that we're going to add in the extra input of the password onto it. So just to save time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this here and then just paste it underneath the does email exist method. Then I'm only going to change that and say something like authenticate user. Okay, then there I'm going to add the password as our second parameter there. All right, and then the other thing, so everything else is pretty much going to be the same. The only thing we need to change is the query string over there. So up here at the top, we're going to copy this and then paste it down here. I'll say, I'll name it as check user. And then here we're going to add username, or actually we're going to say, sorry, we're going to say password. And then we're going to do the exact same thing here where we say, and password equals to, and then put a placeholder there. So that's our query string for checking the user. So now the one thing we need to do, I'm going to copy that, and then down here we're going to change here where it says authenticate, in the authenticate user method we're going to change that to check user. And then this time we're going to need the password parameter as well here, and then also remember to change that to 2. All right, so now the other thing we need to do is, I think that's it for the authenticate user method. Like I said, it's pretty much the same as the one we're using when we check the email. Now, within the login servlet, here within the do post, we only need the username and password. So here I'm going to say get input data. Sorry, I'm going to say form data. Then I'll say string email, and then that will equal to request dot get, right? And then what we're going to get is the email, uh, the email attribute. Then I'm going to say dot trim dot to lowercase. And I'm going to copy that and just do the same for the password, except we're going to remove those last two methods there at the end. So we're going to remove that over there. And I'll say password, and then change that as well to password. Okay, so that's our form data. Now we're practically going to do the exact same thing we did within the registration form. So within the registration form, what we need to take is the setup that we had here where we check for empty fields all the way up to over here where it says end of check for empty field. I'm going to copy that there, and here within the do post method within the login I'm going to paste everything there. Now, what we are going to do is the exact same thing. This time around, what it's going to do is it's going to check whether or not the email the user is using to log in, does it exist in the system or not? And if it doesn't, it's going to redirect them back to another error page or to the error page with another message. So what I'll do here is I'll just say, since this is returning a Boolean value, we're going to check and we're going to use that to see if this is false or not. And then obviously we're going to redirect to the error page. So I'll change that there, and I'll say uh, account doesn't email does not exist, and the error message is going to be, I'm going to say account, please see to the actions below. Okay, all right, so I think that's it for the error message. So down here, what we're going to change is the method itself. Again, remember it's returning a Boolean value, so I'm going to say application dot authenticate user. And obviously we need the email and then the password. Right, so here what we need to do, we're going to need to change this a little bit. So here we want to set the search session, and I'll say http. If I remember correctly, I think that's what it says. Session, or rather, let me name it as login session. Then I think it's request dot get get session. That's it over there. So I need to import that now. Now, with this being said, there's two things we need to add, which is the user bean package along with a token field within our login form. So I'm going to first start off with the user bean package. So within here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a package they called user bean, or just bean. Right, I'll name it beans. And then within here, I'm going to add a model there, which I'm going to call user. Okay, so now within here, let me just do this. Within here, I'm going to set the getters and setters for the user being there. So it's going to be, you know what, I don't think we need to make it static there. It's going to remove that. All right, so then I'm going to pretty much set all the fields that we're going to need um, for our user being here. Okay, so those are our fields there. Just want to put a comment here at the top. Okay, now we're just going to move on to set the getters and setters for these properties over here. Okay, so those are our getters and setters over there. Now, within the login form itself, the other thing I want to add is, like I said, it's the token string. So we need to add an extra field within the login form itself. So I think I'm going to put it down here. Actually, let me just copy this. Okay, so I'm going to change this to a hidden field. And then this is going to be underscore uh, token. And we don't need the placeholder there, but we do need to set the value. So the value is going to be, all right, so the method or the procedure that I use to create token string or the random token string will be as follows. So up here, what I'm going to say is a string. Sorry about that. String. And then I'm going to say token. And that is going to equal to dot random. And then I'm going to have to say dot to string. Need to add the curly braces there. Okay, and then down here, there where it says value, what I need to do is put the input the value there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say equal to, and I'll say token. Okay. Now for this to work, I need to import this particular statement at the top there. Okay, so it's not picking it up. Let me just manually import it there. So I need to add a page directive there, which is going to be um, page. Okay, so now it's picking it up. Now, here's the thing. I had to research online as to how exactly I can create like a random token string onto a JSP page. So this is what I found. Probably there are other methods to go about doing this, but yeah, I just found this online. I think I saw it on Stack Overflow or something. But yeah, I'm gonna use this now just to generate a random token string for our login form here. Where's that field there for our hidden field here? So now I need to access this within the by the way, I need to save that user. So I need to access this within the login servlet itself. All right, so since this is we don't need any of these, I need to remove these fields here. Okay, so down here, or actually sorry, here within the, we'll be getting the parameters. I'm gonna say string, then I'm gonna say token, and then I'm gonna say request dot get, and then it's gonna be token. Actually, it's underscore token. So remember, it has to be exactly the same as what you've named it here. So I've named it that. Let me just make sure that I've got it right. All right. So that's all we need. All right. So now we need to proceed to creating the methods that we're gonna need to use to get the user's details. So here within the application DAO, um, I'm gonna copy. Let me just see. Uh, I'm gonna copy this here. First, the method I'm gonna create is to get the random salt or the salt value from that's stored within the database. So what I'll do is name this as get salt, and then all we're gonna need for here is the email, and then I'm gonna set a string value here. I'm gonna set it to null initially, just like the other values there. All right, so within here we already got the database connection and all that. So what we need to do is over here we're gonna set the sorry, the salt value to salt, and then over here we're gonna return the salt value. Just re double checking here. So sorry, this needs to also return a string value. Okay, so that's our method there. Now the next one that we need to create is the method to get the user's details. So by the way, I also need to change this comment over here. I know I don't need to do this, but I just want to keep it organized. So again, let me see, I'm gonna need to copy, let me just copy this one, and then I'm gonna repaste it here. Then I'm gonna get user details. Okay, now this is gonna return a user value. And then what I'll do is right here, I'll say user. By the way, this is the user bean that we created. And then I'm going to name that also to user and set it to null initially. I need to import that, by the way. Okay. And then, by the way, this is going to, oh, by the way, at the top here, what I need to do is also create two more statements. So what I'll do is I'll copy this one here and paste it underneath there. What I'll name this is get salt, and then I'll have to change that to salt as well, and that should stay the same as it is. The other one that I'm going to create is going to be um, I'll say get get user details. So both of them will be using the email to get the user's information. Just create some space in there so we can see better. All right, so now we need to change the query string within those two methods. Get salt. There's a, let's see that. Just want to check something here. Let me just change the get random salt. Okay, so it looks like I'm using that name somewhere else in the within our class here. But yeah, we changed that value there, the get salt query string. Now we need to change for the user. So get user details. Which is going to be over here. So we'll say change that there. Sorry about that, guys. I made a mistake here. Oh no, 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 no. Actually, I'm right. Um, Sorry about that, guys. I actually there was a bit of an oversight from my side there. So I forgot to change the method. Okay, so this is the method that we want to use to get the user's details, and then from here we need to change that to the query string get user details. Then from here, what we're gonna do is down here I'll say user dot set first name Right. So remember the username, the value we are setting here, it's getting this first name value from uh, our database here. So make sure the fields that you're getting, they need to be exactly the same as what you see there. All right. So I'm gonna do now the same thing for the rest of the fields that we're gonna need. Okay. So those are all the fields that we're gonna need within our login servlet. Just want to set a comment here. All right, so and then obviously we're gonna return it down here. Okay. Actually, I forgot to set the user being there. Just hold on. Set user. So remember we set it to null initially, so I have to set the user here. So I'll say user equals to new user. Let's put some space in there. All right. So yeah, remember to initialize the user since we are initially setting it to null here at the top.